Welcome everybody to another episode of Learn with Flo. Excited to be with you guys today. If you've been following along with us this month, we've been going deep into our perimenopause prep conversations, and really what kind of spurred a lot of this off was our conversations last week about that recent study that came out of Finland. If you missed it, I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version. It was both males and females, but I think it's particularly applicable to our female population out there because this study found that by following people all the way back from the 1950s, they found that a very pivotal decade of life for your overall health trajectory starts around age 36. So age 36 to 46, we're really starting to see how the choices that we're making in terms of habits and lifestyle behaviors, our beliefs around nutrition and beliefs around exercise, stress management, the things that we've done to set up our hormones for success or sabotaged our hormones for not such great success are really going to start to show themselves around this 36 age range. And so not that it's this death sentence, but it's definitely a time where we have some opportunity to either jump on board with that and be like, I probably need to shift some mindsets and I need to make some changes because what I was doing to really kind of take care and nurture my body maybe in my 20s or early 30s is not going to be the same toolbox that carries you all the way to your 40s, 50s and beyond. And I think one of the biggest things that I always like to teach my females is that our body is going to be different, a little bit different every decade of life. Now, does anybody prepare us for that? No, they don't prepare us for that, but it means that we need to have some very serious mindset shifts around things like nutrition, exercise, stress management, nervous system regulation. We need to be thinking about things other than counting calories and counting macros. We probably also need to switch our mindset away from overall exercise volume and these like hour-long cardio classes. And we need to start thinking about how are we truly caring for our circadian rhythm? How are we nurturing our hormone cycles? How are we managing our overall adrenal health and gut health? These are things that I think if we don't do it in a meaningful way in our 30s and early 40s, that like 36 to 46, things start to go a little bit haywire. And then what happens is we blame our hormones. And this is what I really want to kind of dive into today is because in this 36 to 46 age range, especially for females, you're probably getting thrown into the bucket of the social media algorithms that are all things perimenopause, right? And making it seem big and scary, everything just like falls apart. And it's this exact stage where I'm seeing so many women get misled, misinformed, and honestly misprescribed out there when it comes to really managing their overall health in this 36 to 46 year dynamic. And what I want to kind of talk about today is what I see more and more frequently in practice and working with females more is that this perimenopause is so much focused on hormones. It's your hormones. Your hormones are declining. It's a hormone deficiency. And honestly, what is actually happening is not the result of the hormone deficiency. It is a hormone reveal. And I want to talk about this a lot more today because especially in females, we have two major hormones that start to enter the chat in this 36 to 46 timeframe, and it's going to be progesterone and estrogen. And estrogen and progesterone in the female body have so many benefits, and they give us a little bit of resiliency in our early 20s and our menstruating years, even into our fertility cycles. And once perimenopause starts to hit, maybe we're not ovulating as consistently. So then we're not creating as much progesterone and estrogen starts to decline. We think and panic that it's like, oh my gosh, my estrogen and progesterone are disappearing. And then we get led down this rabbit hole of like, here, more hormones. You have to replace the hormones that you're losing rapidly. And really what's happening is the symptoms that are coming as a result, whether it's changes in energy, we're getting more fatigue, more mood swings, more body composition changes, more inflammation. We have poor sleep patterns. All of a sudden we're losing hair, thinning hair. We have heavy cycles. We have painful cycles. We have joint pain, right? All of these things that show up and we get told it's just your hormones. this is not about more hormones. This isn't about a hormone deficiency. This is about what is being revealed when those hormones decline. Okay, this is where progesterone and estrogen in females, let's be real, they kind of give us a little bit of a curtain. And they give us a little bit of forgiveness to kind of hide some things behind the curtain. It's like, oh, my blood sugar's not quite right. I'm dieting myself to death. I have crazy nutrient deficiencies. I have no boundaries in my life. So I'm stressed out too much. My gut health is an absolute disaster. And I probably have some autoimmune patterns lurking behind the scenes. And all of a sudden, when that veil of progesterone and estrogen fall, we get to witness all of those things. So there's no more hiding, no more covering up with estrogen and progesterone. It's kind of a time in a female's life where we're forced to face and look at these things that have probably been going on behind the scenes the whole time, but we had enough of this forgiveness and veil of the progesterone and estrogen. And then when those fall away, we panic and rush to kind of like hurry, try to put the veils back up. It's never the same, right? It's just one of those things where we're rushing to kind of put a Band-Aid and a cover-up strategy on it instead of really looking and respecting as like, ooh, this is interesting. This time frame here, this 36 years old to 46 demographic, like it's a time where I'm being called to actually pay attention to these things that I have been ignoring behind the scenes the whole time. And now this transition of life is really like forcing me to face that. And some women feel like welcoming that with open arms, and other women feel very resistant to that, and they try to panic and frantic, like cover it back up again, and then it's not really a hormones game after all. So if we really think about this and kind of get physiological behind the scenes, before we ever even hit that like 36 where things kind of start to shift and change, before we even hit our 40s as females, progesterone and estrogen do a hell of a lot more than just manage our menstrual cycles or our fertility. They are buffering, they are constantly protecting, they are constantly compensating for any sort of dysfunction, specifically inflammation in our body that we didn't even realize was there. So let's take progesterone, for example. Progesterone has an amazing capacity to protect the immune system. And I know we kind of think about the immune system as like, oh, I have the sniffles, or oh, I get sick a couple times a year. Like when I think about the immune system, I am truly talking about friend versus foe. It helps keep things like food sensitivities at bay. It helps keep things like environmental allergens at bay. It helps keep things like autoimmune patterns at bay. So when I say immunoprotector, I'm not just talking about like, oh, the occasional sniffle and I get sick more often. I am talking about your body's entire inflammatory response. So in the second half of your menstrual cycle as a female, we should be creating more progesterone after ovulation. Progesterone rises. It's a very calming and regulatory influence, but its job does not just stop at fertility. So progesterone has strong anti-inflammatory properties. It helps with immune system modulation. It enhances what's called GABA receptor sensitivity. Now, GABA is our calming neurotransmitter. So you can imagine when the veil of progesterone drops, it's like we get a little irritable, we get a little edgy, we get a little punchy, right? And it's like we don't have that calming effect of that progesterone veil in front of it anymore. We also see that progesterone helps balance out kind of the fieriness of estrogen. We also see how progesterone plays a major role in gut health, ladies. Huge role in gut mucosal barrier integrity. It improves sleep quality and improves like sleep depth, like more of that deep sleep as well too. So what happens when progesterone declines in that 36 to 46 time frame where we're either not ovulating consistently anymore, which is a totally natural process. We're done with those fertility cycles of our life. So progesterone kind of makes like a slow exit stage left. All of a sudden, like the gut issues that were there the whole time, but we were just like managing it with like coffee and willpower. All of a sudden, we really noticed those gut issues. And maybe the autoimmune patterns that we were just like hiding this progesterone veil behind, all of a sudden the autoimmune patterns we didn't know we had, now they start to flare up. We start to see moods that we kind of maybe blamed on, like, oh, the job and the kids. Now all of a sudden we like quickly can spiral into like full-blown rage or panic attack. It's because the buffer of progesterone is gone in that situation, right? It's not that, like I said, your body was never balanced. So this is not this is not progesterone's fault. And it's not something of like, shit, we need to like create that progesterone veil again. It's like, no, the progesterone veil has fallen. It is time to face all of the stuff behind the scenes that you were trying to buffer with the progesterone. So progesterone wasn't fixing anything. It was just hiding it behind the scenes. And suddenly all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're just hormonal. It's like, no, now you're just uncovered. You're kind of exposed now, right? And so that's what perimenopause has a great ability to do. But then we, as like that 36 to 46 female demographic, we're just shoved this social media propaganda around like hormone replacement therapy, like here, more hormones. I'm like, let's not add hormones onto this inflammation dumpster fire. We've got to figure out to like, are we finally going to answer to all of those things that have been imbalanced behind the scenes this whole time? Or are you just going to continue to try to like ignore them and put a Band-Aid on them and pretend it doesn't exist? Because we do the same thing with estrogen too. Estrogen is like this glucose guardian. She really helps stabilize blood sugars. She's also really good for our overall vascular system and overall circulatory system. So estrogen is not just about our periods or hot flashes. Estrogen actually improves insulin sensitivity, and so it helps shuttle glucose into the cells. Estrogen also helps with our overall cholesterol panels, specifically regulating LDL cholesterol. It enhances our mitochondrial energy production, which is really just a fancy way of saying how our body and cells create usable cellular energy. We also, estrogen is very like neuroprotective too, has a lot of cognitive benefits. It has a lot of circulatory benefits. It helps with collagen repair, keeps that like youthful appearance to our skin. And estrogen also helps modulate what's called the histamine response in the body, which is also part of the immune system too. So what happens when estrogen drops, right? We get this perimenopause entering the equation. We're not ovulating as consistently, so progesterone goes down, and then eventually we're not ovulating at all. And so estrogen also joins the chat of like, bye-bye estrogen. So it's like, this isn't just about getting hot flashes. This is about like full-blown blood sugar chaos that is happening behind the scenes. And it's not that you're just like, oh, losing my youthful skin elasticity. You're losing metabolic flexibility, like the ability to burn fats versus burning carbs for fuel. And this isn't just like, oh, I feel more anxious all of a sudden. These are the histamine issues that have been going on behind the scenes this whole time, and you just haven't done anything about it because you've been trying to use kind of the Band-Aids and the curtain of progesterone and estrogen to try to like keep things as stabilized as possible. So once again, estrogen is not the issue. It's losing the veil and losing the curtain. And all of a sudden, women don't like the fact that their body is like, guess what? All of this stuff has been going on behind the scenes for quite some time, and now I'm finally going to ask you to pay attention to it. So it's not so much this like really fear-mongering time in a female's life of like, oh my gosh, perimenopause or this 36 to 46, your body just starts to fall apart. Everything is breaking. I'm like, this is normal biology. This is like perfectly healthy biology. It's not a deficiency. It's like a reveal. Right? It's like we're revealing what's actually going on behind the scenes, because guess what, females? We should be able to tolerate the ebbs and flows of our natural hormonal rhythms. We were born with it. It's like when we can't tolerate the hormonal rhythms, stop blaming the hormones, right? It's not the hormones. It's the terrain in which the hormones are operating in. So it's really calling us to stop hiding. We can't hide behind these like compensatory veils anymore of like estrogen and progesterone. They'll make it all better when I'm out here dieting myself to death and skipping meals and intermittent fasting and doing Whole30 for the 5th time in a row go and signing up for another boot camp class and another 75 hard and on 15 different appetite suppressants and running myself into the ground with caffeine and alcohol. It's like the estrogen and progesterone were like kind of holding up the shit show behind the scenes a little bit. And now the curtain has dropped and it's like, and this is actually what's been going on the whole time. And now we get to kind of answer to it. So trying to reframe perimenopause away from like, my body is breaking and it's this really like frantic and fearful time. It's like, no, it's just like, we're coming into our own. It's like, we're not hiding anymore from any of this. And it's like, your symptoms aren't just declining hormones. They're the unmasking here of systems behind the scenes that have been compensating for far too long. And they're like, we're going to do this now. So real life talk, like, the woman who's been trying to survive on 5 hours of sleep and caffeine for a decade, now she wonders why she's crashing at 3 p.m. and she's like wired and tired at 10 p.m. This has been going on behind the scenes the whole time. This is not just like, oh, it's just because my progesterone is low. Or like the go-getter type A female that's doing Orange Theory classes, CrossFit classes 5 times a week since college. And now she finds she's bloated, she's exhausted, she's inflamed half the time. It's like, this is not a call to action of like, do Orange Theory harder. This is a call to action of like, oh, this has actually been happening behind the scenes the whole time, but because of my progesterone and estrogen could kind of buffer some of this inflammatory response that my body this whole time was absolutely hating, but I pushed through and did it anyway because that's what I'm supposed to be doing according to the social media algorithm. It's like, we're getting to really expose that and kind of change that mentality. Or kind of that like high functioning achiever, I have no boundaries, I'm a people pleaser, I'm fine, everything's fine. It's like, now she all of a sudden, she can't tolerate alcohol. She gets bloated after everything. She wakes up in this panic mode every day. And she's like, oh, it's my anxiety because I'm in perimenopause. It's like, no, chica, like this has been a problem like with our overall like boundaries and nervous system regulation for quite some time. And now you're hitting this 36 to 46 and you don't have the buffer of compensation anymore. And it's time to face the music a little bit. So what we can't do though is just shove the body with more hormones. And it's like, shit, quick, put the curtain back up, put the estrogen back up, put the progesterone back up, because that does not address the blood sugar instability, the liver detoxification backlog, the gut dysbiosis and leaky gut permeability that we have, the mitochondrial burnout, the nutrient deficiencies that we've developed, the nervous system dysregulation. All we're doing here is we're just then overlaying more input into a system that's already maxed out. And it's like, this is not regulation, people. This is just chaos. So this is where I just have a problem with this like perimenopause propaganda out there trying to pretend that like hormone replacement therapy, or here's some birth control, or here's some HRT. It's like, that's not a root cause strategy. Like what you're doing is you're just trying to quickly help her like put that curtain back up instead of really welcoming her with open arms and be like, yes, this is the time where the curtain fell and now we get to face all of this. This is great. This is what your body has been asking for the whole time. You've just been able to kind of like push through, compensate through, and it's not working well. So let's come in with a whole new strategy instead of just like push her off, dismiss her with more hormones and put more hormones into this inflammation chaos. Maybe I'm a little bit jaded because of the demographic of women that I see. I tend to see those women that are just like this. They're like, well, I was promised that, you know, this hormone replacement therapy would make it all better. And I still have gut issues. I still have skin issues. I still have brain fog. I still like feel inflamed all day long. I still can't sleep. And I'm like, yeah, that's because it's not the magic panacea that like everybody is sold to in perimenopause. It can have its space and place, yes, and I've done an episode on that just a few weeks ago, but it can't be used first. Like it has to be where we get to address the terrain that this curtain and veil is dropping and exposing for us. Then we know and can strategically drip in the hormone replacement, like as our last stage of our perimenopause prep and intervention. And some women get to that place where they're like, I feel so fantastic, I don't need HRT. I'm like, you do you, girl. Like everybody has a different interest with that, and I support both. So it's like when we think about the low down methods and how my thought process is different, and what I've really infused into my practice and into my teachings is that with my holistic medicine approach, I'm not going to just patch this leak. I'm going to re-engineer the whole system. I'm not just going to like throw the curtain back up and like, oh, let's just hide that behind the scenes. We're going to ask better questions. We're not going to just assume that your body is in this like, where your body's just breaking, you're in this slow decline. What we ask is, what is the body trying to say? Now that we finally have your attention, what are we wanting to say here? Do we need to be addressing some blood sugar dysregulation that's been happening this whole time? Do we need to reestablish your relationship with food outside of just diet culture and restrictive elimination diets? Do we need to address some underlying gut dysbiosis that is now present as a result of your backlogged liver? Are there some genetic deficiencies there that we've never addressed and have just band-aided our entire teenage years and into our 20s? Is our body being called to really look at our overall boundaries and being called to look at the things that are really expending our energy versus things that are actually filling up and giving us energy? These are the things that it's like perimenopause is like, and now that I have your full attention, this is what I would actually like to address. And we don't listen to that. We push back on that, and we lose such a valuable opportunity to make some real change. So hopefully this, like I said, conversation around understanding this like perimenopause, this 36 to 46 timeframe is not this like disastrous, my body is breaking, my hormones are declining. This is actually a beautiful reveal. And it's a reveal in which the progesterone and estrogen are going to make their slow decline stage left. Yes. But if we can't tolerate some of those changes and fluctuations in the hormones, it's not just labeling us as like, oh, I'm hormonal, here's more hormones. It's like, let's actually take a deeper look at that. It's like, oh, these are natural ebbs and flows of the female hormonal cycle. Why are we not tolerating those? Well, probably some underlying inflammation that has gone unaddressed, and we've just been covering it up, whether it's coming, like I said, from blood sugars, nutrient deficiencies, gut health, liver detoxification, mental health and nervous system. There's lots of different places that it could be coming from, and perimenopause kind of gives us the opportunity to actually look at that, which is really, really cool. So don't miss the opportunity. If you are a female or you have other female friends, send them this episode so that it doesn't feel like this like fear-mongering world of social media to live in this decade and in this time frame, but truly seeing it as like, oh my gosh, we're all being revealed. We're all being revealed to our truest selves, and we get to like actually feel a little bit of vulnerability and exposure to what our body's asking us to look at, which it can feel a little bit scary, yes. But ultimately, if we address those things, then it's not just this perpetual cover-up strategy, and we feel like we're chasing our tail well into our aging years. I want people to not just be surviving, but truly be thriving. And so if you've been curious about like, where are my hormones? What are my hormones doing? What are some of those reasons why I'm not tolerating some of the ebbs and flows or natural declines of my hormones? What is my body trying to reveal to me? You would be a great candidate for my functional wellness consult. You can click the link in my bio. It will take you to my website. You can schedule a consult for us there where we can run some labs before we even meet, not just a situation where it's like, oh, we're going to run some labs, and then you have like a nurse call you and it's like, oh, everything's ship shape. See you again next year. It's like, let's run some labs first. Let's meet for a full comprehensive review of those labs, and let's come up with a game plan. Let's really start to understand what your body is communicating. So that way in this perimenopausal transition, we're not just left in the dark, and we're not just throwing more curtains up to try to cover up what's been trying to get our attention for probably quite some time. So amazing things to come. Hopefully, if you like this episode, please share with a friend, comment on it. And I just, like I said, the more that we kind of like spread these new ideas and spread this information gives us another corner of social media that doesn't feel so like big and scary, and actually feels a lot more empowering with some different interventions than maybe just more hormones. So have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll see you next week.